Eyeballs, crashing websites. We already know what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. We know we have high inflation. Inflation is predicted to go higher, and you are seeing 9.62% on inflation bonds. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a little late on this, but this is the lesson learned, what I saw in this. But today I'm going to talk about inflation protection bonds, what tips, Treasury inflation protection bonds, and I bonds. As we know, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a horrible year for stocks. Well, not horrible, but it's been a down year. Year to date, you're looking at about 20% down on the S&P 500. You're seeing real estate start to topple off. You're seeing inflation go up. A lot of financial people kind of don't know what to do. Everybody's looking which way to go. But here are these I bonds crashing the website. Yes, but I'm going to show you how to purchase Treasury protection bonds or I bonds, or just I bonds in particular, with your tax return. That's right here live. Y'all, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, y'all tune in and share this with all of your friends. All right. But if you haven't done so already, y'all know what time it is. Please go ahead and make sure.
Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, hit that like, comment, and share button.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of our ladies, you are now tuned into the Investor Show as always. This is your gracious host coming in live all the way from the beautiful city and state of Denver, Colorado. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share button. And as always, I don't have a lot of time, and I definitely know you guys and girls don't have a lot of time, so we're going to jump straight into it like we always do it. Kind of rhymed a little bit, but that was so corny. Anyway, this is a Friday night. And here we are talking about I bonds, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see on the screen here, we are on treasurydirect.gov. Treasurydirect.gov. One of the things is I did a lot of research on this. In I bonds with Treasury Direct, it's the only place you can go to purchase bonds. We're going to talk about that later on in the show. But then I looked to see the tips. You had tips in I bonds ETFs, but they wasn't giving that good return like I seen here on I bonds. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the current rate is 9.62% for a savings bond issued on May 1st and October 31st. So today, ladies and gentlemen, complete the purchase in Treasury Direct by today, October 28th, 2022, to be insured by October 31st on Monday. So you got to pretty much purchase it today by midnight. You got a little time, depending on where you're at in the world, to get these I bonds. So now let's talk about what these I bonds are. I bonds, Series I savings bonds, protects you from inflation. As we know, ladies and gentlemen, inflation is going out of control. With a I bond, you have both fixed rate and interest, and a rate that changes with inflation. Twice a year, we set the inflation rate for the next 6 months. So for the next 6 months, they have said, hey, on October 31st, you're going to lock you into a I bond, and this I bond is pretty much good for the next 6 months. 9.62% is a lot compared to what we have going on. Look in the real estate market, interest rates are going up to combat inflation, and the interest rates is high. Interest rates is cooling down real estate. You look at the stock market, interest rates have gone up, it's cooling down stocks. You look at the S&P 500, Dow Jones, NASDAQ, all are down so far this year, 20%, right? So people are looking, where else can I go? What's the hot hand right now? There's not a hot stock. Amazon, Facebook, Google, all these guys came out yesterday, all having a hard time. Notice you don't hear that hot company anymore. But here we are, content. I made this content before years ago mostly about TIPs, Treasury inflation protections, but it was never relevant. And this kind of like slipped off my radar until one day a client of mine just hit me up and sends me an article, says, Prince, is it a way we can get involved with this? And I said, hi, bonds. I said, you know what? Inflation is high and it's kind of predicted to go up a little bit more. Yeah, you know what? Let me take a look at I bonds, and here they are at 9.62% of what they announced. So that's what they do, right? So I bond at a glance, right? So people come in, they like, where can I buy them? How can I get them? There are two ways. You got to have an account first, but you can purchase them with your tax return too. But it's a little late if you're trying to get in. You can get in today, but somebody gave me the fire emoji. What's going on there? Who gave me that fire emoji? Who was in live? Guys, if y'all are in live, make sure y'all come in and say hello. Don't be a stranger. So right here, let's say if you want to buy these. Hopefully my computer is not my internet is not too slow, but it was a little bit early today. I don't know why I was having a little issue there. But so we're going to look into it a little bit more to learn a little bit more about them, right? So you have I bonds, which is short for inflation, right? And just like you saw people kind of ask that question, they said, Prince, how can I get into them, what they're doing and stuff like that, right? So you got two ways you can buy them. We're here on the treasurydirect.gov. You got two ways you can buy electronic bonds or through Treasury Direct. You can buy a paper bond Series I only through the mail using your federal tax refund, right? You can buy it using your federal tax refund, or you can pretty much have it directly put into your account. You can buy an electronic. You can buy it on the website from Treasury Direct, the site that I'm on right now, or you can buy them via your federal tax refund. Right now, if you go straight down, okay, let's see. So right here, this is the deadline. It says you must complete your purchase and receive confirmation email by October 28th at midnight. iBond purchased by this deadline will have a October 1st issue date. You will receive and publish. You will see the published rate for the next 6 months. So for the next 6 months, you will receive 9.62%. This is something that I missed out on. Looking at Treasury inflation, reason why this crashed the website. This crashed the Treasury Direct website because right now there's nothing that's really compatible. 9% in 6 months, that's a lot compared to the stock market is negative. You're looking at savings accounts are doing better than the stock market right now, but savings account are maybe not even doing 1%. So you look across the asset classes from that people have access to. Now you got other things like private equity, but that's a whole nother conversation. But you look at the public market, you look at real estate, and you look at business, and people are like, hey, I can lock away anywhere between $25 all the way until $25,000 and get 9.6%. This is pretty good. So this is why everybody rushed into it. This is why it became so relevant, and everybody almost killed themselves trying to get into it and crash the site. So let's get in here, and here we go. I'll go to this side here to show you exactly how to purchase them. So people might be asking that question, why you want to purchase them. So you have to have a treasurydirect.gov website. It's a government website. I have one, but I never really got into bonds because one, it's not my very strong suit. Two, it was just never really relevant when, asset classes were doing well, when interest rates were low and stocks was doing well, inflation was down. But now that you're seeing inflation come up, interest rates come up and things like that, it's becoming a little bit more difficult, right? So you got the Series E. You can see that's 10.1%. That's like a savings account. Nobody's interested in that one. But here you go, right? You can buy Series E or Series I. I is the one that's given at 9.62%, right? So you have to open up a Treasury Direct website account. So you have to go to treasurydirect.gov, open up an account. You click on Buy Direct. You choose whether you want an E-bond or I-bond. I-bond is the one right now that's tracking inflation. That's why the interest rate on it is so high. So you fill out the information. You got two ways you can buy it, right? You can say, hey, I want to buy this with a tax return, or you can have your company come in and buy it for you, right? So it says you can buy electronic savings bonds from any account, from any amount from $25 to $10,000 to the penny. For example, you can buy on an electronic savings account for $75.38. So you can buy, you don't have to be exactly at $25. It could be $25.35. In one calendar year, you may buy up to $10,000 of Series E electronic savings bond and up to $10,000 worth of Series I. So $10,000 is the most you can put in there. $10,000, that's like $962 that you would make in 6 months. You divide that 962 by 6, that's about, so let's say if you did the max, if you put in $10,000 over the next 6 months, you will make, here we go here, 962 divided by 6, $160 a month. So you can make $160 a month guaranteed over, by the government, backed by the government, $160 a month for the next 6 months. If you put in the max 10 grand, which would take you up to $960 something, which is the interest rate that you have right there. Now you can buy through, you can have your payroll account. Like you can have some of your paycheck, you can set up to say, hey, I want my employer send some of my money to my Treasury Direct. So this is something that I'm going to explain that to you. So it's another way to buy savings bonds to have your employer send money from each paycheck directly to your Treasury Direct account. you decide how much to set aside for savings bonds, then it would happen automatically, like the rest of your paycheck, directly to your bank account. Now, also on top of this, you don't have to buy it for yourself. You can get it for your children, your grandchildren. Old people used to do this back in the day. They used to go buy savings accounts. They used to go buy CDs. Every month they would go buy CDs, but that became irrelevant because of interest rates. My grandparents and my parents are old. They're almost like grandparents. In their 70s, 80s, and 90s, you can have a savings account and get 3%. You can continuously buy a CD and make money from it. But now, in a very low interest rate society, that became obsolete. Savings accounts were irrelevant. CDs became irrelevant. But now, with high inflation and the government chasing inflation, with interest rates, you're seeing savings accounts and CDs become relevant again because stocks, asset classes are starting to fall. So you're seeing savings accounts and money market accounts starting to become relevant again, and even things like bonds. Nobody really talked about bonds too much. You didn't really hear that as a big thing, bond ladders, but they're becoming relevant because of tips, treasury inflation protections, and inflation, with all this inflation that's going on, right? So right here, to have you, so you can have it money set out of your paycheck, put straight into your treasury direct account, and you can purchase that way. It's far too late now if you want to jump in now. You have to already have an account. You already got to have your account funded in order to jump in. So what I may do is I may look at, I don't want to be the hot hand Betty trying to run over to whatever is hot, but to have a treasury, it wouldn't hurt to have a treasury direct account set up and ready to take advantage of when these type of things come along. Then I tried to do some research here and try to find ETFs. You got a couple of ETFs out there, but they don't seem to be doing the return as easy. You have the ETF out there called, I think it was called iBond, if I'm not mistaken. But it was an ETF out there that I was trying to look at and to see what they had as well. Let me see what my guy Max B said. Max B said, yeah, let me give a shout out to Max B. Shout out Max B. Max B been holding me down, y'all, for years, man. Max B's been holding me down. Even when I'm not around, Max B's holding me down. I appreciate you, man. I really do appreciate you. He said, yeah, I've been building a ladder with CDs and iBonds. Yeah, I remember that, Max B. You was looking for, you was talking about it. You left a comment about it or whatever. And I made content on these things for years, years ago, on bonds and bond ladders and CDs and things like that. But it came a time where I stopped creating content on it because that information wasn't relevant anymore. And what I mean by relevant is interest rates were so low and the stock market was doing so well, nobody cared to hear about it. Nobody wanted to talk about bonds when Google is doing 20%, Amazon is doing 20% a year. Amazon went from $300 to $3,000 in 10 years. Nobody ain't trying to hear about no 2%, 4% bond, right? So that content, it kind of became irrelevant. Like right now, we know that the Federal Reserve is pretty much planning on pushing interest rates all the way up until the end of next year before they start to back off of them. So this information here on bonds will become irrelevant as well. But it was at a time where I made content on it, but nobody really was kind of checking for bond ladders and stuff like that in the middle of a hot bullish market. Nobody want to hear that, Let me see this right here. Max B said, yeah, I had to go back in the vault for that video. Yeah, man, that video is probably like 4 or 5 years old. I was making content on bond ladders and CDs and things like that, but nobody really was checking. It's becoming relevant now. It's crazy. A lot of things that I did, I re-released my cartoon. Y'all go check that out. The Wesley Learns to Invest pilot cartoon. I wrote that stuff and produced that stuff back in 2015, like 7 years ago. And it's more relevant now than it was then. People are like, wow, man, that's a genius idea of the cartoon. I'm like, man, that was 7 years ago. I'm just putting it back out. But that's just times I learned about it in the world of investing. Everything has its moment. Like for prime example, beginning of the year, middle of the year, oil was the thing. Oil was dead for almost 10 years. Oil became relevant beginning of this year. Now oil is kind of cooled off. Then you see bonds. Tips, treasury inflation, you're seeing bonds become relevant again. And right now, stocks are trash. You look at Amazon. Amazon down to almost $100, about to crack below $100. You're looking at Google and Apple. Apple's kind of doing okay, but you're seeing all these companies that was hot, who was the hot hand for sure win for 10 years, but you're seeing the market slowly rotate. You see the market rotate to bonds, then you see it from oil. Nobody talked about oil. Nobody talked about bonds. Look at it. Everybody, it's like the crypto world never even exists, right? You're just seeing things, people just kind of moving around. Wild Card Central, what's going on? Wild Card Central. I don't know where y'all checking in from. Wild Card Central says, hey, what's going on? Hey, how you doing there? All right. Then we got Miss Tamika. What's going on, Tamika? Tamika says, hey, thank you for all that you do. Oh, I definitely appreciate that. She said, I got a question for you. Is the interest rate given every month? No. For the I bonds, it's every 6 months. Every 6 months, the Treasury comes out and they say what is going to be paid for the next 6 months, right? So with some people, they're like, hey, if you lock in as of today, if you had a confirmation by today, over the next 6 months, dude's going to get a guaranteed 9.62%. It crashed the website. It crashed with so many people trying to run into it. So you won't get another one to the next 6 months until they announce the new rate going after that one. So that's just for we're talking about just in particular the inflation protection bond, right? Treasury inflation protections, which are TIPS, and you have I bonds. TIPS, this is the thing about TIPS. TIPS can go down, right? I bonds is every 6 months. I think you're talking about, Tamika, let me double check here. I think you're talking about TIPS. TIPS may be every month. Let me look up TIPS and I'm going to show y'all this. I'm going to pull up my screen here, right? So y'all give me 1 second here. Let me share my screen. So yeah, I bonds, what we're discussing right now. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Y'all give me 1 second. Here we go. Thank y'all for tuning in on a Friday night. I know I've been gone for a little while, but I am back in it. So back in it every now and then, for you guys and girls know that I'm retiring from the military after 20 years of service, and I'm interning in the private equity world. So one of the things about the private equity world is kind of like private equity consulting. So you get to see a lot of things, but it's private. So you can't really discuss it. Not really, but you can't discuss, you can't talk about it, things like that or whatever. So it's not a whole lot of content I can produce out of the things that I'm learning in the private equity world. I can share things from the public market or what's going on. But yeah, goodness gracious, I don't know what's going on with this site here. I don't know. This site has had a hard time. Y'all give me 1 second. I don't want to have this big blank thing on the screen here. So now the difference between Treasury inflation TIPS can go down, and TIPS might be every month. Let me see how frequent TIPS are. I know I bonds are. Let me get off this site here because bonds. All right. Okay. Let me see if this site would even come back up because people are crashing the site, trying to get into it, trying to see things and things like that. It might be quarterly. It looks like it might be quarterly, but I'm trying to. Y'all give me 1 second. I want to pull this up so I can share it with y'all too, so y'all can see it as well. Yeah, Tamika said, "Woo, retirement." Yes, ma'am. 20 years, y'all. I came in at 18. I'm 38 years old now, and yeah, my service is definitely done now. Definitely going out of that, and y'all know I have my own registered investment advisory here in Colorado, and the military has a great program where they allow us to intern in our next field. So whatever we want to do, they have a great program that would allow you to intern and go into your next field, or rather easily, not easily, but you can, you have access to do that. So yeah. Okay, I'm not going to go back on the Treasury Direct website because that website crashed because of everybody was rushing onto it because of that guaranteed 9%. Here we go. How? Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, tips are every 6 months too. They are every 6 months, and so both of them are every 6 months. I just double check for you, right? Now I'm getting spam all in my chat. I got spam all in my chat. Look at this. Oh my goodness. But yes, Miss Tamika, yes, 20 years retirement, and yes, it's 6 months on both. It's 6 months on your inflation protection, and it's 6 months on your I bonds as well. But this is something that I kind of missed. Bonds have, I want to say in the past, it's been a while since you've seen people kind of talk about bonds. But I remember old people used to do this. Y'all, I don't know if y'all remember this. You're a little bit older. You hear your parents say, your grandparents used to say this all the time, that they will buy a bond. No, they will buy a CD, wait till it matured, buy another CD, buy another CD, buy another CD, buy another CD, kind of almost creating a bond ladder. Or when kids were born, parents used to buy them bonds. I'm gonna buy them bonds, I'm gonna buy them CDs. But it became so irrelevant, it's never said it again, right? People never looked at it. People look, hey, I'm gonna get you a bond. Hey, I'm gonna get you a CD. Now you don't see people do that no more. Everybody now, because the reason being is from 2009. We had the longest bull market over the last decade, 10, 11 years strong. You're seeing the stock market push out 20%, 20, 10, 15, 20%. It was nothing to get 10 or 15% annually on the stock market. Nobody wanted to hear nothing about a 3% bond. Hey, I'm gonna get my kids in the stocks and stuff like that. So, but in an economical time like this, you're seeing it different. Miss Tomika says it's still better than a savings account. Yes, it's definitely better than a savings account. Because savings accounts are interest rates. Interest rates dropped so much that you didn't see anything from savings accounts, right? So yeah, that's why you seen it. I want to bring this to everybody's attention. I saw it and I really researched into it. I said, man, look at them. They don't snuck one in on me. And I got caught napping there a couple months ago of looking at all this inflation that we talked about and didn't even think about tips, treasury inflation protections, and I bonds. Totally kind of went over my head there. But I'm going to show y'all another way too. Another way to get into this as well is you have tips ETFs. So let's say you don't want to create a new account. You already got an E-Trade account, whatever. That's one of the reasons why I wasn't overly watching it, because I didn't get that information fed to me because I didn't have that account. Let me share this with y'all. All right, there we go. So right here you have iShares tips bonds ETFs, right? And right now this is the ETF called tips, TIPS. And you can look at it so far this year, its reflection is down 17%. Still doing better than the stock market, because you got to look at S&P 500 as of today. So far this year, S&P 500 is down how much? 18%. So it's been having a little jolt here at the end of the year, but it's down 18%. So you see the stock market, that's the S&P 500, top 500 companies in the world, are down 18%. This is where I want to go and look, and I want to figure out how much do they pay in dividends. I think their last dividend was like 1.44%, but I think it's going to jolt up because of as of November 1st. So this new rate is going to start on November 1st. So I definitely want to see how this would pay out. I think its last payment was like $1.44. So it should definitely be more, but I got to see how they are calculating there. Which, here we go, dividend yield. See, they don't even have it on here. So I got to go to the prospectus, and look it up to see how they are calculating, how they're paying. But there are ETFs. You don't have to go get a treasurydirect.gov. There are, treasury inflation protection bonds, ETFs on the market as well. It just don't hit as well as what I'm seeing just owning the bond directly does. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, nice to see y'all in here live on a Friday night. And thank y'all for tuning in. Hopefully y'all got something out of this episode here. Treasury inflation protection bonds and I bonds. I bonds, how they, treasury inflation could go up and down. I bonds, every 6 months they're calculated watching inflation. But I don't want to get caught at the tip of a market. That's what happened when I call it the hot hand betting. When you're trying to run from here to there, you can run and try to get the wrong thing. But here it is. This is why you got to have that wide array. I kind of missed this one. I talked about this information a lot, but it didn't click in my head with Oh, inflation is going up, projected to go up and continue to go up. Let's look into tips. Let's look into I bonds. So yeah, so I want to share that with you guys and girls. This is why you see that site crash and be very clunky of getting around. Treasury inflation protection I bonds. There are ways where investing into inflation, kind of crazy to say. Hopefully y'all got some out of it. Until next video, podcast, cartoon, y'all already know, check that description box to make a contribution to my book drive. Yes, my book drive. If you haven't checked out all my whole book series, children's books on investing, credit, and insurance, go get those for your children, nieces, nephews, grandkids, neighbors' kids, classmates, your kids' classmates, your kids down the street, the kids over there, the kids right there, all over the place. But yes, we have a book drive. Every dollar you donate will be matched by up to 10 grand, dollar for dollar. And check that out in the description box. Check that below. I appreciate y'all for all the support. And to the next video, podcast, cartoon, whatever's crazy y'all see me do across the globe. Y'all know my name is Prince Dykes, Max B. You be safe too, my brother. You be safe too. And to the next video, podcast, cartoon, whatever y'all see me doing across the globe. Peace. Be safe. I'm out. And you know what? I got some good interviews coming for y'all too. So y'all stay good too. Miss Tamika, good night to you. Good night to you too as well. All right. Peace. Be safe. I'm out. And thank you.